Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Museum Munchkins. I'm Mr. Nick, and today we are going to be talking all about wolves. And we're going to start our day today by singing a song about wolves. If you'd like to stand up on your feet so you can sing along with us. So this song is called Talking Wolf. And in this song, we're going to learn a little bit about how wolves talk to each other, how they communicate. So we're going to listen for what the actions are and maybe what the wolf is trying to say, and then see if we can follow along with those actions. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Let's try it. When I'm feeling happy, I smile all the time. Can you smile? Make a big old smile. But if I was a wolf, I'd shake my behind. Can you shake your tail? Shake, shake, shake your tail to show that you feel happy. Shake, shake your tail to show that you feel fine. Very good. Now we're back to people. Now when I'm feeling grumpy, I cross my arms and pout. Can you be really grumpy right now? But if I was a wolf, I'd start growling all about. Growl, growl, growl and snarl to show that you are mad. Growl, growl, growl and snarl, show everyone your teeth. Yeah, that's how wolves show that they're angry or upset. Now when I'm feeling sad, I frown and I cry. But if I was a wolf, I'd crouch down low and hide. So crouch, crouch, crouch down low to show that you feel sad. Crouch, crouch, crouch down low if you're a wolf who's feeling bad. Now, if I was a wolf and I couldn't find my pack, well, I'd just start to howl, ow! And wait for them to howl back. So howl, howl, howl real loud to show that you need help. Howl, howl, howl real loud so we know just where you're at. Now let's see if we can do all of our motions again, okay? Are you ready? Shake, shake, shake your tail to show that you feel happy. Growl, growl, growl and snarl to show that you are mad. Crouch, crouch, crouch down low to show that you feel sad. And howl, howl, howl real loud so we know just where you're at. Great job, everybody, learning how to talk like a wolf. Now, I'm going to set my guitar down, and then we're going to head up into the exhibit so we can talk and learn all about wolves. Hello, we are back up in From Curiosity to Science to check out our gray wolf that we have on display up here. These are large predators that are native to Eurasia and North America. And most wolves here in North America actually live a lot further north, up in Canada. But there are actually some populations of wolves that live here in Wisconsin, just way far up north. So you have to go really far up north to get them, to find them. And wolves are the largest members of the dog family. So that includes wolves and dogs, coyotes, and foxes. They are the largest member of that whole family. Their average are about 88 pounds and can reach up to 5 feet in length. That's a pretty big animal. Now, wolves usually live in a family called a pack. Have you ever heard that word before? Like a wolf pack? So a pack usually has 2 adults and some of their older pups who are maybe a few years old, and then their puppies, they're the youngest members of their pack. Usually around 8 wolves total make up a pack, but sometimes a couple packs will come and live together. A couple wolf families will come and live together. Maybe 2 or 3 families live together and make an even bigger pack. And sometimes packs can have lots of members. The largest known pack that we've ever discovered had as many as 42 wolves living in it. That's a lot of wolves all living in one pack. Now, when wolves communicate with their pack, just like we did in our song, they talk very differently than we do. So we can talk and express ourselves with our words or music or art, but how wolves communicate with each other is very different. So they will howl. Do you remember howling in our song? So they will howl to get each other's attention. Or they will wag their tails when they're feeling happy. Or they will show their teeth and snarl when they're feeling grumpy or angry. So they use that sort of communication with each other, but they also will use scents to communicate with each other. And that's because wolves are territorial animals, which means they like one piece of land that's all to themselves, that's just for those wolves, so that they don't have to share with any other wolves, and they need all that land to help to find all the food that they need to eat, that they need to survive. Now, some of the territories that wolves have are kind of small. They're only maybe a few square miles, which is not very big at all. But some wolf packs have enormous territories. In fact, there was a wolf pack up in Alaska that was only 10 wolves. 10 wolves in this pack, but their territory was 2,400 square miles. That's like 10 wolves whose territory was the size of the state of Delaware. That's a huge territory for just 10 wolves. So usually they only take the space that they need, but in some cases, wolves also take a little bit more space than they think that they'll need, so that they never have to worry about running out of food that they need to survive. They'll always have animals in their territory to hunt when you have a territory as big as Delaware. So they have, sometimes they have huge territories, and they mark their territories and communicate to other wolves that that is their territory by going to the bathroom all over their territories. So if you have a dog at home, you've probably noticed when you take your dog out for a walk, it's doing a lot of sniffing around, sniffing the ground, sniffing trees, maybe sniffing fire hydrants or light poles. They're sniffing all over the place. That's your dog smelling the communications from other dogs that have marked their territory or marked that, hey, I live in this neighborhood too. And then you probably have also noticed then too, in addition to smelling a lot, your dog stops to go to the bathroom quite a bit too, because it's telling them, the other dogs, hey, I live here too now. This is also my neighborhood. So wolves and dogs both communicate that way by marking their territories, by going to the bathroom all over the territories and letting other wolves know that this is their area to live in. Now, wolves, just like our dogs, have a very strong sense of smell. But they can smell things that are a really, really long way away. Smell its prey from 1.5 miles away, no problem. But actually, under perfect conditions, wolves can smell much farther. In fact, there were some scientists who tracked a pack of wolves who picked up a scent and followed that scent 64 miles to a herd of animals nearby that they were hunting. That is a crazy far way to smell something. That's like if a wolf down in Chicago could smell here in Kenosha at our museum. That is a really, really powerful nose. So, luckily, they can move pretty fast when they're hunting animals or when they're just running around, so they can get to those smells really quickly. So wolves can run up to 43 miles per hour. That is really fast, and they can travel about 50 miles in just 12 hours. So they don't run for 43 miles all that way, otherwise it would only take them a little over an hour to get 50 miles, but at their top speeds, they can reach about 43 miles an hour. And wolves, with their packs, work together with other members of their pack to hunt other animals. And they're one of the only animals that we know on our planet that actually does this, that works together to hunt other animals. And that allows them to hunt animals that are much, much larger than them. Animals like bison or buffalo, caribou, musk ox, moose. They can hunt some really, really, really big animals. And wolves are such smart, sometimes misunderstood animals. And I actually brought a story today that is about 3 wolves who are going to use their smarts to actually find a new house and protect themselves from the big bad pig. So let's head back to our classroom and check that story out. All right, so today our story is The 3 Little Wolves and the Big Bad Pig by Eugene Trevisis and Helen Oxenbury. Once upon a time, there were 3 cuddly little wolves with soft fur and fluffy tails who lived with their mother. The first was black, the second was gray, and the third was white. One day, their mother called the 3 little wolves around her and said, "My children, it is time for you to go out into the world. Go and build a house for yourself, but beware of the big bad pig." "Don't worry, Mother. We will watch out for him," said the 3 little wolves, and they set off. Soon, they met a kangaroo who was pushing a wheelbarrow full of red and yellow bricks. "Please, will you give us some of your bricks?" asked the 3 little wolves. "Certainly," said the kangaroo, and she gave them lots of red and yellow bricks. So the 3 little wolves built themselves a house of bricks. Oh, that's a pretty sturdy house already. The very next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of bricks that the little wolves had built. The 3 little wolves were playing croquet in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside the house and locked the door. The pig knocked on the door and grunted, little wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," they said, the 3 little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his sledgehammer and he knocked down the house. The 3 little wolves only just managed to escape before the bricks crumbled, and they were very frightened indeed. "We shall have to build a stronger house," they said. Just then they saw a beaver who was mixing concrete in a concrete mixer. Please, will you give us some of your concrete? Asked the three little wolves. Certainly, said the beaver, and he gave them buckets and buckets full of messy, slurry concrete. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of concrete. No sooner had they finished than the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of concrete that the little wolves had built. Do you think he's going to be able to knock this house down? They were playing battledore and shuttlecock in the garden, and when they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house and shut the door. The pig rang the bell and said, "Little frightened wolves, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He went and fetched his pneumatic drill and smashed the house down. The three little wolves managed to escape, but their chinny chin chins were trembling and trembling and trembling. "We shall build an even stronger house," they said, because they were very determined. Just then, they saw a truck coming along the road, carrying barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and heavy metal padlocks. "Please, will you give us some of your barbed wire, a few iron bars and armor plates, and some heavy metal padlocks?" they said to the rhinoceros who was driving the truck. "Sure," said the rhinoceros, and he gave them plenty of barbed wire, iron bars, armor plates, and plexiglass, and some reinforced steel chains, because he was generous and kind-hearted rhinoceros. So the three little wolves built themselves an extremely strong house. It was the strongest, securest house one could possibly imagine. They felt absolutely safe. The next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road as usual. The three little wolves were playing hopscotch in the garden. When they saw the big bad pig coming, they ran inside their house, bolted the door, and locked all the 37 padlocks. The pig dialed the video entrance phone and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in, not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff, and I'll puff, and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. So he huffed, and he puffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, but the house didn't fall down. But the pig wasn't called big and bad for nothing. He brought some dynamite, laid it against the house, lit the fuse, and blew the house up. The three little wolves just managed to escape with their fluffy tails scorched. "Something must be wrong with our building materials," they said. "We have to try something different, but what?" At that moment, they saw a flamingo coming along, pushing a wheelbarrow full of flowers. "Please, will you give us some flowers?" asked the little wolves. "With pleasure," said the flamingo, and he gave them lots of flowers. So the three little wolves built themselves a house of flowers. Do you think that's going to work to keep the big bad pig out? One wall was of marigolds, one of daffodils, one of pink roses, and one of cherry blossoms. The ceiling was made of sunflowers, and the floor was a carpet of daisies. They had water lilies in their bathtub and buttercups in their refrigerator. It was rather rather fragile house, and it was swayed in the wind, but it was very beautiful. Next day, the big bad pig came prowling down the road and saw the house of flowers that the three little wolves had built. He rang the bluebell at the door and said, "Little frightened wolves with the trembling chins and the scorched tails, let me come in." "No, no, no," said the three little wolves. "By the hair on our chinny chin chins, we will not let you in. Not for all the tea leaves in our china teapot." "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down," said the pig. Ooh, it might work this time. But as he took a deep breath, ready to huff and puff, he smelled the soft scent of the flowers. It was fantastic. And because the scent was so lovely, the pig took another breath, and then another. Instead of huffing and puffing, he began to sniff. He sniffed deeper and deeper until he was quite filled with the fragrant scent. His heart grew tender, and he realized how horrible he had been. Right then, he decided to become a big, good pig. He started to sing and to dance the tarantella. At first, the three little wolves were a bit worried. It might be a trick. But soon they realized that the pig had truly changed. So they came running out of the house. They started playing games with him. First they played Pig Pog, and then Piggy in the middle. And when they were all tired, they invited him into the house. They offered him tea and strawberries and wolfberries and asked him to stay with them as long as he wanted. The pig accepted, and they all lived happily together ever after. The end. All right, everyone, so today we are going to be making some wolf masks. So you can wear these masks while you practice communicating like a wolf, just like we learned how to do in our song today. So what we're going to do is, we're going to make a mask, and we need just a few things. We're going to need a paper plate. That's going to be our mask, the big part of our mask. We're going to need some colors for our wolf fur. So I'm going to use purple, actually. Have you ever seen a purple wolf before? Some purple, and some pink fur for the inside of the ears. And then I've got three little black pieces of paper here. I'm going to use one for the nose and two of them for the eyes. And then I've got a piece of white paper here for making some wolf teeth. And a piece of yarn that's going to help me hold the mask on when it's all finished. And the other supplies on it are a hole punch if you've got one. Otherwise, you could just poke holes with your scissors too. So I've got my scissors, some glue, and a marker. And I might need the marker, I might not. We'll see. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've got my mask here, and I'm going to cut some holes in it with my scissors. Now, an easy way to kind of start this, paper plate in half like this. Take your hole punch. And that'll make a nice starting place for your eyes, for you to cut your eye holes. It's okay if our paper plates get a little bit bumped. That's okay. There we go. So that's where my eyes are going to be. Let me just check here real quick. Yep, I can see out of them. So now let's cut some eye holes. I can start from those holes I punched. That makes it a lot easier to cut holes in the middle of a paper plate. 1 and 2, perfect. So now I've got my 2 eye holes. Great. Now I'm going to need my wolf's snout. That's long, that's where its nose and its mouth are. So I'm going to cut that shape out. So a wolf's snout, you just cut this piece of paper in half, and I'll use half for its snout and half for its ears. So a wolf has a long snout that's narrower at the end of it and wider where it connects to the rest of its face. So I'm going to leave it kind of wide down at this end and make it kind of narrower, almost like a long stretched out egg. There we go. So that's going to be my wolf's snout. Well, I need to put a couple things on here. I need to cut out my wolf's nose. So I'm going to cut out kind of a rounded triangle-y shape for my wolf's nose. Just like that. And then I can glue that right on here for the nose. Goes right at the end of the snout. That nose is really important for wolves. Remember how good of smellers they are? So I've got my nose on the end there. And now, close my glue stick again. I'm going to cut some teeth. So I've got this long strip. I won't need all of this for teeth, but I'm going to see about how much I will need for teeth. And then I'm going to just cut that part right about there, I think. No, wolves don't have square teeth, though. They have really sharp teeth because they're good carnivores, good hunters. So I'm going to cut some triangles out of this paper, but I'm not going to cut all the way. I'm only going to cut through the paper about halfway to make some teeth, and that way I will have a long strip of paper that I can connect my teeth to my wolf's snout with. And now you can see I've got my triangles cut out of that long strip, and now I'm going to take some glue. We're going to put some glue on the top of those teeth, just like that, and stick those right here on my wolf's snout. Now you can see my wolf's long, sharp teeth. Perfect. So let me just do a little test here on my mask. So when it's all ready, oh, that looks perfect. Excellent. All right. So actually, let's get some glue and stick that on right now. A nice little test fit of where it's going to go. And now we will stick that right there in the middle of my wolf face. I'm going to pick up my paper plate and kind of press it in there and rub it so it gets a good stick on there. And now I'm just going to let that dry for a minute while I work on my wolf's ears. So I need 2 ears that look exactly the same, I think. So I'm going to take my piece of paper here and fold it in half. And that way when I cut out one ear, I'll actually get 2 ears that look just the same. So wolf's ear is kind of like a long triangle like this. And it's okay if I leave the bottom kind of flat because I'm going to stick that on the back of my plate. Now I also need to cut out of my pink paper 2 long triangles that aren't quite as long as my ears. And that's going to be the inside of my wolf ears. There we go. And now look, 1 and 2 wolf ears. Perfect. Let's get those glued up too. Put a little bit of glue on the back of here and press that on there. And a little bit of glue on the back of this one. I want to make sure I get it close to the edges too so it doesn't peel off. And press it onto that one. Excellent. Now I could just glue these on here, but I think in order to get them to stick a little bit better, I'm going to use my stapler. I'm just going to put 1, 2 staples for that ear, and 1, 2 staples on this ear. Perfect. Now, I said I have these other ones for eyes. Now, I could use these if I didn't want to make a mask. I just wanted to make kind of like a fun wolf puppet head. I could use these to cut out circles for the eyes, or you could use them, like I might use mine. I'm going to cut out 2 kind of crescent moon shapes. 1, which is kind of like, I think some of you might know what this might look like if you know what a crescent moon shape looks like. But I can use those to make some wolf eyebrows. because wolves kind of have eyebrows. So I'm going to put those on there. I don't know, do you think I should make a happy wolf and have his eyebrows up like that? Or kind of a grumpy wolf and put his eyebrows down like this? I think I'm going to make mine a happy wolf with his eyebrows up like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because that's how those wolves in our story ended up. They ended up pretty happy with that big, good pig after that pig changed his ways. So I'm going to put some happy eyebrows on there because now it's a happy wolf. There we go. Some glue on that one too. We'll stick that on there too. Again, I want to press those on there so the glue sticks and holds those pieces together. Perfect. And now the last thing to do is to punch a couple holes, one on either side, for me to put my string through. 1 and 2. Let's clean up all this paper. So it's nice to keep your workstation nice and clean. I'm going to put my yarn through one side, through one hole, and I'm going to tie it like this. So tie it in a knot on one side. And now I'm going to put it through the other side. I'm not going to tie it yet though, because I don't know how much of this yarn I'm going to need. I cut an extra long piece so I would make sure that it would fit around my head. So now I can stretch that yarn out and put it over my face and see, pull this yarn kind of tight to see where it needs to go. I think right about there. Does it look pretty good? Alright, so I'm going to tie my yarn right about here then. So it's just the perfect size for me. And then my wolf mask will be all finished. Cut off the extra bit there. Perfect! Thank you guys all so much for joining us today for Museum Munchkins. I hope you learned so much about wolves today, and I hope that you have fun making wolf masks. If you do make a wolf mask at home, I would love to see a picture of it. You can share those pictures with us on our Facebook at Kenosha Public Museum, or you can post them to our Instagram too. You can share them with us on Instagram too at Kenosha Public Museum. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I hope we see you next week.